And welcome to the fourth Biblepay show. I'm 616. Over there is.
I'm Togo.
All right. This is season 1, episode 4. I don't know why season 1, and I don't know where season 1 ends. We're not Netflix, so we can kind of go as long as we want to. I will warn you in advance. We have a pre-recorded interview in this show, and you're going to see the date on the bottom change. And that was just misguided work on my part. But nonetheless, welcome to the show. How you been doing, Togo?
I've been doing all right. It's been tough. The whole crypto market is down.
Oh, yes, it is.
Yeah, so it's been tough.
It's been a while since we've done a show, which, again, we always talk about how we want to do a little bit more reasonably, and it's just been a busy time, and hopefully, cross our fingers, we'll be able to kind of lead into a more regular schedule. But I think our goal is to get back to at least monthly schedule on this, and we're pretty close on that, really. We're a couple weeks off, but it's all right. So let's talk about Biblepay. That's what we're here for, the cryptocurrency for Christians, and we are one of many Masternode style coins that's out there. What makes Biblepay different, Togo, than your average Masternode coin?
Yes. Oh my goodness. So right off the bat, Biblepay donates 10% of coins to charity. And we also donate 38.5% of coins to people contributing CPU cancer research to different science projects. And in the Masternode space, we're actually one of only 20 coins that actually has governments set up and implemented out of 375 Masternode coins.
So, and just to be clear, that's 10% of newly generated coins, 10% of coins that are generated on the blockchain, not 10% of coins every transaction, right?
Yeah, just 10% of coins that are mined every day are held back, and then it's voted upon by the Masternode network as to how to spend the funds. And anyone can enter in proposals, and Rob enters in a proposal for Compassion, April enters one in for Bloom, and then we have lots of other proposals.
April, I think we're going to be talking to her in a little bit. So let's talk a little bit about where we're at. If you're participating at home, thanks for watching, of course. The last mandatory version, 1.1.3.8 or 1138C is in Charlie, and the last recommended version, if you're a Masternode owner, I guess you would say, is 1.1.4.6F. That's 1146F, as in Frank. Let's talk about, though, there's been a couple of big revisions since 1138, and we had 1144 and 1146 that I think are both pretty big versions. So tell us a little bit about 1144. We had actually a decrease in boot time. So we boot up faster, and that's a pretty big deal because a lot of people on slower systems noticed that it did take a long time to boot up, and while I don't know if I'm seeing a 93% increase, I do think it's pretty substantial. We saw a little bit of a reliability improvement for the proof of distributed computing updates, and our good friends that are running on Apple systems, they're getting a little better support too. 46 was the sanctuary update, or the Masternode update, depending on we call them sanctuaries. Most people call them Masternodes. And one of the big things was that business logic that got modified that helps the chain stay synced up, which will hopefully help prevent the occasional forks that happen when one group of Masternodes gets behind another. What else did we do there? It seems like we did something. Oh, that was 46 part of the IPFS?
I'm not sure.
I can't remember. So there was a couple other big changes in 46, though. Deterministic DDoS of invalid blocks that helps prevent denial of service attacks on good nodes, and they're not really attacks. They're just when nodes don't agree on things after a certain amount of bad data, a node will believe another node is misbehaving and will just say, I'm done with you. So that's part of what I understand kind of caused some of the debug log problems that we had, where your debug log would fill up and it would knock your Masternode down because your VPS would get out of storage space. And there was a little bit of change in the cryptor.cpp file that will help with Macs being able to actually compile their own versions a little bit. But I don't have a Mac, and that just sounds hard to me.
Another thing I heard is that now we support Ubuntu 18.
Oh, yes.
It was some SSL library that was an issue or something. I'm not sure if it is working for Ubuntu 18. I just heard it was.
I haven't tested it, but the last I checked, that was actually a big deal, because if you tried to get a VPS, most of the VPSs are going to recommend that you take one of the long-term strategy Ubuntu distributions. Well, the one they're going to default to is 1804, which is the newest one. It's the one from April of this year, and but not April from Bloom, April the month. Just so we're clear, Coco. I didn't want to confuse you, but so they will default, or they will recommend you choose that one. If you choose that one, it didn't work. So it's good, because I bet you there's some places out there that aren't even offering 1604 on a VPS. So yeah. Hopefully I'll check that out here, and we'll see what happens. Coin health wise, well, we're at 921 million coins. Our maximum is expected to be around 5.2 billion coins. So we're about 20% into our life cycle. When we started this, or when I started gathering the data, we're a few blocks past this, but we were at block 69,402. Oh, that's one thing we didn't talk about. What's our block time supposed to be?
7 minutes?
You're right. You get the gold star. So 69,402 was the most recent block. The next PODC, Proof of Distributed Computing, or research block will be 69,605. That's a daily block, and so we have 205 blocks a day, so you can just keep adding 205 to that number and figure out where all the blocks will be. And the next budgetary block is 79,800, so just in nice round numbers, we're quite a little ways away from that next budgetary block. The last block that I looked at, to just give you some ideas of what our Masternode's making, what our proof of Biblepay hashers making, or heat miners, or proof of work miners is the common term. The last block I looked at was 69,401, and that block, the proof of Biblepay hasher, made 485.5 Biblepay. The Lucky Sanctuary made 4,370. That's 4,370 for a total of 4,855 on the block. There's 315 masternodes out there. Not all of them are receiving rewards. Let's talk a little bit about that. A little bit of business logic was changed, and I think you have a little bit of handle on that one.
Yeah, so Rob ended up changing a spork value. Sporks were created by Dash. They're soft forks. And there was a spork that he turned on to make it to where Watchman is being used to see which masternodes are eligible for payment. And now this will knock out masternodes that are in the expired state. Apparently, all masternodes in the expired state have been getting paid. I wasn't aware of that. I'm not sure how true it is, but apparently now it's been changed.
It does seem, just from some research we did before the show, that does seem like that is taking place, that masternodes are actually being paid. The ones that are active are more rapid. And the thing about Watchdog is Watchdog ensures that every masternode is participating. It's a sub program to Biblepay. It runs in the background, and it basically tells the rest of the masternodes that, yes, I'm pulling my weight. And it just keeps everything fair, because you don't want someone to be able to set up a masternode and then not be doing any of the things that masternodes do and still get a reward.
Mm-hmm.
The last Proof of Distributing super block paid out a little under 1.1 million coins. There were 237 payees. That's up about 36 or 15% from our last payout, where there were 201 payees, our last show at least. I apologize. The bad news is the price, but the price everywhere is not very good. But we've been hit harder than most, it seems. We're down to 9 Satoshi right now. That's 55 1,000ths of a coin, or a little under 6/100ths of a coin, which is quite a far cry from where we've been, which is a bummer. But
yeah, I saw a crazy statistic that 94% of altcoins are more than 70% down from their all-time highs.
oh, I can believe it. You don't just have to look across the board. I was looking yesterday. Ethereum was almost below 200 again, and I was like, "Holy Moses! I haven't seen Ethereum below 200, and I really can't remember when it was."
Yeah, we're back to prices back to where they were a year ago. It's crazy.
So let's look at the good news, though. Let's transition into good news real quick. This is the thing that I just love is our stats at BOINC, the Berkeley Open Interface for Network Computing. We participate in 2 different projects: Rosetta at Home and World Community Grid. We started at Rosetta at Home on February 7th. Our proof of distributing computing didn't actually go live until March 6th. And at World Community Grid, we started on March 30th, although from June 9th to about July 15th, there was 0 reward for doing it because of I forget what it was called, GDPR, the European privacy law that for some reason took everyone by surprise, even though it was in the works for a couple of years. Hey, if it wasn't for the last minute, nothing would get done, right? But right now, our RAC, our recent average credit at Rosetta at Home, is 5.3 million. That's first overall in terms of RAC, as it's called. We had 5 million credits performed yesterday, and we're up to 1.4 billion total credits. That's third overall. And again, this is a project that's over a decade old, and we are third overall in about 6 months. That's amazing. Right now, provided nothing changes, and there's a couple things that could change and change these numbers dramatically, but for right now, the way that things work now, we're about 32 days out from overthrowing TSC Russia as the number 2 team overall. Still about a year and a half away from knocking Gridcoin off the number 1 overall throne, but that is coming. Well, meanwhile, at World Community Grid, 3.9 million RAC, that's 5th overall for RAC. The teams that are ahead of us in RAC, recent average credit, are Marist College, Gridcoin, a little company called International Business Machines. You might have heard of them. They used to make computers. And the University of, and I swear, one of these days I'm just going to call them up and say, how do you pronounce this? But I'm going to butcher it again. Kaiserslautern, which I think I've done worse on this time than last time. But those are the teams that are ahead of us in RAC. We're at 284 million total credits. That's 82nd overall. We're scheduled to be in the top 50 of all time at World Community Grid in about 81 days, about 9 months, and we should be in the top 25, again, if nothing changes. But let me show you what just happened in the last week. This is why I like our stats, because we can say things like this. And we're going to look at the top. This is from, we're going to go over here to, this is Free DC. So we are on this list, number 82, where I'm highlighting now. 82. 82nd team of all time. This is World Community Grid. Below us, BOINC Stats, the Knights Who Say Knee. Oh, look who we just beat at 96th. The Atheists and Agnostics. This little team from Biblepay just exceeded the work of atheists and agnostics in the world of science. Wow. That's got to be pretty worth something, right? Anyway, so let's get back to it. What other big news do we have for the coin?
Yeah, so it's been about a month and a half since our last show, and since then we got listed on CoinExchange.io.
Yeah. Oh, did I just take away your cheat sheet? I'm sorry. I was trying to be really. There it is.
No, you're good.
There's CoinExchange.io. So
yeah, I really like their layout. I like how the whole trading thing looks.
And they are a traditional, centralized coin exchange like C-CEX, like South Exchange. So if you had trouble using Crypto Bridge, Coin Exchange is a lot easier to use. It's a lot more what you're used to. Although that's not to say don't. I mean, that kind of transitions nicely into our next thing, which is coin exchange. Oh my, it's back.
C-CEX? Yes. So C-CEX came back from their 3-month summer vacation. So they're now fully enabled. You can withdraw and deposit Bitcoin in Biblepay now.
Very good. That was a big one because they typically are the driver of our volume right now. That's the one we've been at the longest. That's where most people are most familiar with. Although South Exchange did do a lot of volume while the vacation system was on, and I really do like South Exchange. I think they were set up pretty well. So we also got listed on the MNCN.Online. It's another Masternode stat site. I haven't really checked it out because it's a Chinese Masternode site. So
yeah, I think it has English and Chinese. But yeah, it should be like Masternodes.online or Masternodes.pro.
And then if you run a Masternode or a sanctuary, you might check out NodeCheck.io, the NodeCheck Masternode monitoring, and that's a service that actually you could have gotten from Biblepay Central too, right?
I'm not sure. There was a BiblePay.eu, and
that's
I
right.
believe it was run by a guy named Virus, but it's been down for 3 months.
Okay, so that's a good way to check on if you run a headless terminal that runs your local wallet for your masternodes to watch. You can do that, and then you don't have to literally check it every single day. You can just wait for your email that says something's wrong, which hopefully you won't get.
Yeah, the email notifications are nice, so that way you can fix it real quick before you fall out of the payment queue.
If you're new to proof of distributing computing, the one thing that is hard for people to get their start in is you need stake to be able to. You need to be able to mine. You need to be able to be doing cancer research or World Community Grid research, but you also need to have Biblepay stake to get the rewards. So one way to get your stake is the airdrop, which I think the number just went down a little bit, but it should be enough for your average user to get enough stake to at least partially stake an average home computer. There's a way to do it. It's kind of a longer, involved process, but in short, you can't have already received a Biblepay payout via the Masternode or via proof of distributing computing, and you have to have at least a little bit of RAC going on at BOINC. So, anything more to add there?
Yeah, so the airdrop was you would get $20 if you set up a Biblepay cancer research miner. I think now it's probably like $10 or so. And this was run by Jop, and Jop worked with airdropalert.com, I believe, and it's been an amazing response rate. We've had a ton of new miners come on and a ton of people start mining.
And for other people that are still having trouble, I'm not trying to advertise for anything, but the site BBP Pool is pretty good, and that is a distributed computing. You sign up there. You don't have to have your own stake. They take a 35% fee to provide the stake, and then you don't have to worry about it, and then you just get payouts. So we'll add that to the list of links. The Thor challenge. Oh my, I am excited about this. The World Community Grid Thor challenge. I cannot wait because I think we are going to rock it up. Talk about it, Togo.
Yeah, so some members of the World Community Grid community, they run a yearly tournament called the Thor Challenge, and basically everyone competes to see who can contribute the most amount of work, and slowly teams are knocked out until there's the final 10 or so.
Yeah, so
but it should be fun. It'll be great publicity.
The first week of the challenge is September 24th through September 30th. So as of the recording of this, it's about 2.5 weeks away. The top 20 teams advance to the second week, which there's a break. It's October 8th through the 14th, and then there's another week-long break. The top 10 teams go October 22nd to October 28th, and then another week-long break. And then November 5th through November 11th, the top 3 teams compete, and you could be the Thor Challenge winners. I can't wait. I think it's going to be awesome.
Do you think we can make number 1?
It's going to be tricky. I think we can get in. I'm hopeful we can get into the top 3. Now, there's some ways that you can. There's some ways that I've read in the past that you can strategize. You can like hold back work and then submit it. And that's, I think, part of why there's that week-long gap, is to encourage that kind of behavior where you just take all your systems offline and not report any work for a week. But I don't think that we need to game the numbers to get to where we need to be. At least let's put it this way. I don't think we can game the numbers as well as the people that have been doing this for 3 years. So we might as well just keep on the status quo and keep going. But if you do have any machines that are currently working at Rosetta at home, you might consider moving them over for World Community Grid, because it's actually not RAC, it's actual credits earned during that time. So, and if you just have a hankering to throw on a 64 thread processor during those weeks, I'm just saying, might not be a bad idea.
and the World Community Grid mining guide is posted on the subreddit.
Correct. We need to really start hustling, because this interview is long, but we need to, and I always say, I think we're going to get this done in like 10 minutes, and here we are 20 minutes into it. But nonetheless, there's been a couple proposals. There's one proposal that I know I have pretty strong feelings on, and I know you're a little more open to, but there's a proposal to remove the team requirement from being able to mine. The caveat being that if there are other teams that do crypto as a reward, those teams will be prohibited from not being, how can I say this? They'll be prohibited from receiving an award if they're on another competing crypto team. So basically, if you're on Team Gridcoin or Team Byteball, you would not receive a reward, whereas if you were doing Byteball on the side, like a lot of us are doing, as far as I know, you would still receive that reward because you're not part of the competing team. But hopefully everyone just stays with us, even if that does go. And it's close. It's barely passing the last I looked. And I have strong feelings that, because I am such a big numbers geek, and I love the fact that we were just rocking it up. And look, we just beat the atheists and agnostics. I don't think we would have done that without the team requirement, or at least not as quickly. So then there's a poll that if we do remove the team requirement, do we want to give people that are not part of Team Biblepay the same reward that you get as being as part of Biblepay, or do you want to give them a reduced reward because that might be more fair? And so there's a vote over on the forum.biblepay. And then the two big things that they've been working on, and I don't understand them well enough to really speak in large quantities on them. Do you? I know you've been testing.
I could talk a little. So Rob has been working on a system called DAHF, which is a decentralized autonomous hedge fund. So he's working on a way that people can propose different stock trading strategies, and then the system will pick the best ones by going back through like 50 years of data. And so it should be interesting how well it turns out. Rob seems to know a lot of different hedging strategies, and it'll be interesting as a way to invest into the stock market.
And as part of that, to make it work, we're integrating the IPFS, which I knew what it stood for a little bit ago until I said what it was. But anyway, it's an acronym for something, but it's a decentralized file storage system where the masternodes or sanctuaries would host files. It's kind of necessary to do something like the DAHF if it comes to pass that we're going to need to have a lot of data stored somewhere, and it would be good to be able to give our masternodes utility and have them do something useful. Besides voting, I mean, there's a lot of things masternodes do that's useful now, but do have more utility. We'll just real quick touch on these last things, and then we'll just include the links down below. There's a collage of all the orphans that were sponsored in 2018. It's a pretty big file, but it's neat to look at. There's the update from Bloom about the Sierra Leone and Uganda projects. There's a profile of the Cairo Children's Fund that Andrew Scribner did. He's the founder over there, and I'm hoping that we can have him on the show maybe next time. I'd really like to get Compassion on the show next time, but let's hope. Orphan Letter Writing Bounty is up to 1,800 Biblepay, so if you're looking for another way to bootstrap your way into proof of distributed computing, that's a good way to do it. And really, the orphan letter writing is like one of the coolest things we do, because it's all about, it gets back to how are we helping things out, how are we doing things for others, how are we serving the community, how are we serving the world. And we're doing it through the research mining, which serves the cause of science. We're doing it through direct cash donations to these charities, and then to support the children who are in those charities, we write them letters on a reasonable frequency to know that, hey, you're not just getting money from this nameless, faceless American corporation over here, that there's actual people behind it that care about you. Sorry, I got on my soapbox a little bit. I try not to do that too much. And then we've got the Sustainability Fast, which is going on right now until the 10th. I'm not sure. I read a little bit about the Daniel fast. It's one of the for people who are new to fasting, it's one of the more straightforward fasts to do. It's not quite the shock that a lot of fasts are, where you totally go without food or liquid. But it's pretty much avoiding meats and trying to have just a minimal amount of food, whole grains, vegetables, and things like that. And the idea is that not only does it help your body out, but it gives you time, that time you would have normally been cooking that big old steak up over here, you're going to spend in thoughtful reflection and prayer, and do those things and see what we can get done. So, well, not what we can get done. We're not doing anything. We're asking for help. So anyway, is there anything I've missed, Togo?
No, this is everything.
All right, so
we can always go into more details. There's always lots of things to talk about.
I mean, we're already. Oh boy, you don't want to know. So we got about a 9-minute interview that we recorded, and the date's going to change. I can't remember. It was the 23rd or 24th of August with April from Bloom. April is the director over there, and she's one of our charity recipients. The Bloom is actually. She's been real great to take some time out and talk. Just before I do that, though, why don't you stand up and show what you're wearing?
Oh, yeah, I was going to...
The Biblepay shirt.
Got my Biblepay shirt on from the Zazzle shop.
I was going to ask, did you get it from Zazzle?
I bought it from Zazzle. And they have all different types of sizes and different designs. You can get a V-cut.
Very good. I am wearing just it's finally not 9,000 degrees here, so I'm pretty excited. But let's go over to the interview, which is pre-recorded. We'll come back and wrap up the rest of the show. And here's April. And welcome to the first interview of the Biblepay show. With us is April Wareham, and she is with Bloom, one of our charities. A good day part to you here, because I'm not really sure when this show will actually be viewed by any of our viewers. Right now, it's good morning to you. How you doing?
Good. How are you doing?
Oh, pretty good. Well, thank you so very much for being on the show. Our goal has always been to get some guests on here, and you have the distinction of being our first guest. So kudos to you. We'll send you a trophy in the mail or something. But nonetheless, tell me a little bit about, or tell our viewers and myself as well, a little bit about Bloom and what your organization does.
Sure. So Bloom is actually the acronym for our full name, which is Be Love Orphan Outreach Missions. And our goals are to serve orphaned and vulnerable children as a hosting organization, which I'll talk a little bit more about later, and then as an orphan sponsorship organization, and also through sustainable projects that will help reunite families and feed and educate orphans. And we are a Christian-based ministry as well. So we have all kinds of great aspirations, and we're small but mighty with our current programs.
Very good. How long's Bloom been doing what you've been doing?
So we were actually founded in 2012, but our first hosting program actually commenced in 2014 with Ukraine. And then after that, we shortly followed suit with a Poland hosting program. And then this winter, we're opening a whole bunch more, hopefully. So we also have our orphan sponsorship programs, which have been going on for most of the time that we've been open. And those are currently in Sierra Leone and Uganda. And
Okay.
we also have sustainable projects in both Sierra Leone and Uganda. They're actually farming projects to feed the orphans and also teach the communities where those orphans are about farming to help lift the whole community out of poverty. So
Very
that's
good.
in a nutshell,
No,
everything.
it's a pretty well-rounded nutshell. How long have you been with Bloom?
I've been with Bloom about 2 years now, maybe 2.5 actually.
Very good. Very good. Now, since this is a Biblepay show, I am going to force you to talk a little bit about Biblepay. So I hope you don't mind. But how did you end up finding out about Biblepay?
So actually, it's kind of a funny story. I used to do PR for a cryptocurrency. Well, actually, they're not a cryptocurrency. They're a blockchain technology. So they really just have their tokens as not really a currency, but they have their tokens for the project. And I did that before I worked with Bloom. And after I worked for an adoption agency. It was kind of a weird left turn in my career. And I just kind of learned how to geek out on cryptocurrency and blockchain from that. And so what happened was I was, for fun, like all geeks do, browsing CoinMarketCap and was looking at some of the top performing new coins, and Biblepay caught my eye because, it's like, oh, a Christian-based cryptocurrency? What's this? So I just kind of stumbled upon it, and then I saw their contact information was in Texas, and that's where I'm from. So I reached out and explained what Bloom does, and that's history. So
very good. Well, for those who don't know, the Biblepay, and I'm sure we've covered this in the earlier part of the show, but Biblepay, 10% of our blockchain emission we donate to charity, and the primary charity we have supported is Compassion. And Bloom has come on the scene, and there's you may know better than I do. There's at least one other one that we've been supporting as of late. So it's important to think that not only are we here to do the research mining and help mankind through hopefully medical advances, but we're here to help the here and now by direct support of charities that help in large part children. That being said, can you tell us how Biblepay has helped out Bloom to this point?
Yeah, it was something so far beyond my expectations. I kind of came into this with no expectations, actually. And it turns out that Biblepay, as of my last calculation, has actually given Bloom just over $14,000. So that makes Biblepay actually our second largest, private donor.
Okay.
And aside from, our normal, program donations for the hosting program. So it's pretty exciting, actually. They've helped us through several different, requests that we've had, from orphan hosting scholarships, which help the children come over from their countries to the U.S. to stay with American host families. And then after they return, hopefully they get adopted. But if not, then they just, they get to experience the love of a Christian family, and they get to have medical care and eye and dental care done while they're here, and great nutrition, and just kind of experience life outside their orphanages. So we receive some money for that from Biblepay. And then also Biblepay sponsors 10 of our orphans in Uganda through our side-by-side program. And that's where we rescue children out of abusive homes and put them in a private Christian boarding school until we can find foster families for them. And we work with the Ugandan government with that. And then we also have 4 kids sponsored in Sierra Leone at our partner orphanage there through Biblepay. And then the last thing that they've given us donations for is a sustainable farming project that we've started in Uganda to help lift a community out of poverty and give the orphans some regular, food. There's about 250 orphans that go to a local community school there that we want to help serve, and we just don't have the capacity, to find individual sponsors. So we wanted to build a sustainable farming project so that they could always have food.
Teach a man to fish, and it's better than giving a man a fish. That sort of idea.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's. I'm going to bring up your website here. If you want to talk a little bit about the website and how people can contact you if they want to make direct donations or if they just want to learn more about you, tell us a little bit about the website.
Sure. So we're always looking for host family partners. So you can see under our programs list drop down, we've got all of our different programs and projects listed there, from orphan hosting to sponsorship to our sustainable farming projects in both Sierra Leone and Uganda. Really we need prayers for, these kids to know the love of Jesus, to continue with our programs, our ministry, host families who would like to sponsor an orphan to come over to the U.S. temporarily and maybe find their forever family, are always welcome to apply through our website. Right now our most exciting thing is that we've almost fully funded that farm in Uganda. So for the whole project, it was going to be $20,000, and I think we're only like $1,000 or $2,000 away right now, and it ends. The fundraiser ends September 1st, at which time we're going to have a raffle drawing for somebody to win either $2,000 in cash or $3,000 in airfare as a thank you from Bloom for supporting the project. So lots of exciting things.
And they can find your website at
www.bloomworldwide.org.
Very good. Well, we'll have people visit there, and we appreciate the time you've taken here today out of your schedule, and thank you for telling us a little bit about Bloom, and also thank you for telling us how Biblepay has been able to help you, because at the end of the day, that's part of our mission. That's part of our mission, is to help organizations like yours, and it actually gives me a lot of satisfaction to know that we're able to do that and actually see results. So thank you for your stories and your time, and we appreciate it.
Thank you so much for letting me share about it, because Biblepay has been such a blessing to us. I'm really just so thankful for the whole community. So thanks.
Thank you so much. That's April Wareham. She's the director of Bloom, and we'll be back with the rest of our show in just a little bit. Thank you.
Thank you.
And there we go. We'll work on getting our transitions a little better between the video and the live and whatnot. But that was April. Did you enjoy that? You there,
It was good.
Okay, I just making sure you were still with us, because that was the problem. Was we had a little bit of a the way it was set up, we couldn't really hear all of it very well. So, but you'll be able to hear it hopefully. So that's kind of the end of the show. I think we're wrapping up, and apologize again for such a long, drawn out show, but hopefully you got something out of it. Hopefully, our hope is we can get. Well, one, I'd love to get somebody from one of the World Community Grid projects to talk about their project, or from Rosetta at Home. We've got the other charity, for the love of Pete, I can't think of what it is. Kairos Children's Fund. Wouldn't mind, that'd be great to talk to Andrew from there, and of course it would be nice to get the good folks from Compassion on to talk to them. But we'll be trying to bring stuff like that. Give us a comment. See what you think. Do you want more interviews? Do you want less of us? You want more of us? You want Togo to talk a little more and me to talk a little less? That could be. I don't know if that's possible. But, but that, I think that gets us there.
Follow us on Twitter. Subscribe on Reddit. Join the Discord. Join the forum. Get involved, and if you have any skills that you want to provide to Biblepay, or have any ideas, let them be known. And if you want to do any work, you can get funded from the Masternode budget system.
And actually, I did want to say, because this was I was watching a YouTube video that you shared in the forum, Vosk Coin, who I've watched his stuff before, and actually he's mentioned us once before, hasn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe twice.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't mind giving him a little plug, even though I'm not. We're not here to support the those folks, but Vosk said something profound, I thought, when he was talking about how GPU mining is very, very low rate of return right now, and was just talking about the overall markets being where they're really doggy and whatnot. And he said, at the end of the day, you need to support the coins that support you. And I want to think a little bit about that real quick. It's kind of like my Springer thought of the day, I guess. But supporting the coins that support you can be a couple different things. It can be a coin that you think, if your investor's got a long-term project, it's going to be one of the moonshots. And there's nothing wrong with doing that. There's nothing wrong with being a speculative investor and putting some money out there and hoping you win that one. I think really, though, what it means is, does the coin scratch that itch that you need to scratch? You know, if you're a privacy person, if privacy is the number one thing in your life, you know, you might want to support Monero, for instance. You know, that's one of their linchpins. You know, you know, if you're all about the ERC tokens, you probably should support Ethereum, you know, because that's their bread and butter. What's our bread and butter? We're
charity and cancer research.
Well, and I think the research goes back to a charitable spirit. So even though right now mining for individuals may not be very cost effective, and I certainly don't begrudge anyone from dropping out of mining because they got to pay the electric bill at some point. But long term, do we have what it takes to be a coin that 5 years from now we still doing the things that we're saying we're doing now? Are we still supporting charity? Are we still supporting research to help make the world a better place? And I think we should be. I think we will be. It's a rough patch now, but I think long term, this is the coin that supports me. You know, this is where my heart's at, and I hope that most of our users who are coming in, this is where their heart is at. And financially, it may not be right at the moment, but hopefully that'll turn around. So there, I've said my piece. I've counted to 10. What's that from?
I do not know.
Oh, you're so young, Togo.
I am.
Oh, brother, where art thou?
Oh, okay.
The movie. There you go. So anyway, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for spending your 42 minutes with us. And thank you again to April for talking with us and shedding a little bit more light on Bloom and the whole process. And hopefully we can bring you a lot more information. If there's anything you want us to talk about in the future, short of like a tutorial, which I'm still trying to get some more tutorials knocked out. But if there's any specific topic, any questions you have, leave them in the comments below. We'll answer your questions next time. Yeah, below.
Click the like button. Click the subscribe button.
Yes, please do. And join us next time in hopefully 30 to 34 days. Thank you, Togo.
Thanks.
Have a great night and or great day or whatever time you're watching this. And stay right now dry. Whoosh, rain coming. But thank you so much.